everyone. I am Shrinarin Umbito, third year college of BS Entrepreneurship, and today's video I will explain the non-tariff barriers. So what is the non-tariff barriers? It is trade restrictions such as quota, embargo, or sanction that countries use to further their political and economic goals. Countries usually opt for non-profit barriers in international trade. The non-tariff barriers include quotas, embargoes, sanctions, and levies. Also, non-tariff barriers are trade barriers that restrict the import or export of goods through means other than tariff. The World Trade Organization identifies various non-tariff barriers to trade, including the import, licensing, pre-shipment, inspections, rules of origin, custom delayers, and other mechanisms that prevent or restrict the trade. Non-tariff barriers refer to any measure other than customs tariffs that regulate import or export into a country. Industrialized countries use non-tariff barriers to protect local industries against foreign competition. There are common examples of non-tariff barriers. Those are licenses, quotas, embargoes, foreign exchange restrictions, and import deposits. Also, there are three types of non-tariff barriers. So first is the protectionist barriers. It is designed to protect certain sectors of domestic industries at the expense of other countries. Next, assistive policies. It is designed to protect domestic companies and enterprise. They do not direct restrict trade with other countries, but they implement actions that can impede free trade with other countries. Last is the non-protectionist policies. It is not designed directly to restrict the import or export of goods and services, but overall outcome may trade to free trade of the trade restriction. So the first one, protectionist barriers, it protect for certain sectors. Assistive is protect domestic companies and enterprise. The non-protectionist policies not directly restrict. There are examples of non-tariff barriers. First is the licenses. It is one of the most common instruments that countries use to regulate the import of goods. Of course, all of that here in our country, or for import and export, they can do that without the license. License is the authorized that you can import and export the goods. Next is quota. It is quantitative restrictions that are imposed on imports and exports of a specific product for a period of specific period. Parang period of time, they need to get the standard naka-set na kailangan nilang makuha on that period of time. Last is embargoes, that are the total bans of trade of specific commodities and may be imposed on imports or exports of specific food that are supplied to a specific countries. Last is the import deposit. It's a form of foreign trade regulation that requires imports to pay the central bank of the country a specified sum of money for a definite period. So I guess it's like a tax. So they need to there are deadlines that they need to pay their bills on central bank of the given period of time. So for import surcharge, it is an extra duty placed on an important good by the government over and above existing rates of import duty, customs duty, or tariff. Import duties are used primarily to discourage imports as a means of protecting the country's balance of payments. A surcharge is an extra fee, charge, or tax that is added on the cost of a good or service beyond the initially quoted price. Often a surcharge is added to an existing tax that is not included in the stated price of the good or service. I guess it is the there's no specific amount for that charge. It depends on the cost of goods or services that is importing, if I am not wrong. For the import quota, it is a type of trade restriction that sets a physical limit on the quantity of a good that can be imported into a country in a given period of time. Quotas are like other trade restrictions that are typically used to benefit the producers of a good in the economy. A quotas in economics, it is a government-imposed trade restriction that limits the number of monetary value of goods that a country can import or export during a particular period. Countries use quotas in international trade to help regulate the volume of trade between them and other countries. So, to get the balance, I guess, for that quota, there are limits that you can import and export the goods that companies or enterprises want. But there are limits for that to balance the economy on each country. Well, there are two types of import quotas. First is the absolute quota and the tariff rate quota. An absolute quota is a limit on the quantity of a specific goods that may enter a country during a certain period of time. Once the quota has been fulfilled, no other goods may be imported into the country. So for when the companies or enterprise reach that limit, they need to wait for the next batch or the next period of time that they can import and export the goods that they wanted into another countries. How the import quotas work? For example, US may limit the number of Japanese car or let's say car or vehicles imports to their countries for 2 million per year. So quotas will reduce imports and help domestic suppliers. So I guess that's all. Thank you.